Let's be real, none of us want to spend more at the pump than we have to. Everyone's got fuel-saving advice these days, whether it's your friend, that random person at the gas station, or something you read online. But here's the kicker. Most of them are total nonsense. Believing these myths isn't just a waste of time, it's a waste of money. So today, I'm here to bust 7 of the dumbest fuel myths that people still believe in. Fuel myth number 7. Turning off the AC saves fuel. Let's kick things off with a classic myth. Turning off the AC will save you gas. On the surface, it makes sense, right? If the AC isn't running, the engine isn't working as hard, and that should mean less fuel is burned. But here's the truth. Modern air conditioning systems are way more efficient than people give them credit for. Their impact on your fuel consumption is so small, you'd hardly notice it. Now, you might think, okay, I'll just roll the windows down instead. But here's where things get tricky. At lower speeds, like when you're driving around the city, having your windows down isn't a big deal. But once you hit higher speeds, like on the highway, those open windows create a ton of drag. That drag forces your engine to work harder to maintain your speed, and guess what? You end up burning more fuel than if you had just used the AC. So, what's the verdict? If you're cruising around town at slower speeds, rolling the windows down is fine. But if you're out on the highway, it's actually more fuel efficient to keep the windows up and let the AC do its thing. Plus, let's be real, driving in a car that feels like a sauna on a hot summer day isn't exactly fun. Here's the good news. Today's air conditioning systems are light years ahead of the old gas-guzzling ones. They're designed to cool your car without putting too much strain on the engine. That means you can stay comfortable and cool without feeling guilty about wasting fuel. So, the next time someone tells you to tough it out and turn off the AC to save gas, you can confidently tell them they've got it all wrong. Keeping yourself comfortable isn't just about enjoying the ride, it's also a smarter choice for your car and your wallet. Fuel myth number 6. Shutting off the engine at stops saves gas. Let's talk about a fuel-saving tip that a lot of people swear by. Shutting off the engine every time you stop. On paper, it sounds smart. If the engine isn't running, it's not burning fuel, right? While that's technically true, it's not quite as simple as it seems. Yes, idling does use fuel, but the amount is pretty minimal. Modern engines are much more efficient than they used to be, and they don't burn as much gas while idling as older cars did. In fact, starting a warm engine today uses only a tiny bit more fuel than idling for a few seconds. However, constantly turning the engine off and on isn't without its downsides. For short stops, like sitting at a red light or waiting in a fast food drive-thru, the fuel savings you might get from turning off the engine are so small, they're not even worth the effort. Every time you restart your car, it puts a bit of extra wear and tear on your starter motor and ignition system. These parts are mechanical, and over time, constant restarting can wear them out, leading to costly repairs. So, in the end, you're not really saving money, you're just shifting the expense to something else. Now, there are situations where shutting off the engine makes sense. If you're stuck at a train crossing waiting for a drawbridge or in a long traffic jam where you're going nowhere fast, turning off the engine can help you save a noticeable amount of fuel. In those cases, you're balancing fuel savings with wear on your car, and the payoff can be worth it. Hybrids, of course, have an edge here. They're designed for frequent stops and starts, with systems that seamlessly shut off the engine and restart it without the same wear and tear. Traditional cars, however, aren't built for constant on-off cycles, so you need to use a little judgment. At the end of the day, the idea of shutting off your engine at every stop to save gas is more hassle than it's worth for most people. The fuel savings are tiny, and the wear on your car might end up costing you more in the long run. Instead of stressing about shutting off the engine, focus on better habits like maintaining steady speeds, avoiding sudden acceleration, and keeping your car in good condition. Those things will save you far more fuel than turning off your engine ever will. Fuel myth number 5. Manual transmissions always save gas. Let's dive into a myth that just refuses to go away. The idea that manual transmissions are always better for fuel efficiency. This one's been around for ages, and back in the day, it had some truth to it. Older automatic transmissions weren't exactly known for their smarts. They were less efficient and burned more fuel compared to their manual counterparts. But here's the thing. Times have changed, and so has the technology. Modern automatic transmissions have come a long way. Today, we've got advanced systems like CVTs, continuously variable transmissions, and dual clutch transmissions, which are designed to squeeze every last bit of efficiency out of your fuel. These systems use smarter gear ratios and advanced electronics to optimize performance, making them just as good, if not better, than manual transmissions in terms of gas mileage. Don't just take my word for it, studies back this up. In many cases, modern automatics actually outperform manuals at the pump. That's because they can make quicker, more precise adjustments to driving conditions, something even the most skilled manual driver can't do as effectively. So, while driving a stick shift might give you that sporty, connected-to-the-road feel, it doesn't automatically mean better fuel savings anymore. Another thing to consider is the learning curve. Not everyone knows how to drive a manual, and even those who do might not always drive it efficiently. Revving the engine too high or shifting gears at the wrong time can waste fuel, negating any potential savings. Automatic transmissions, on the other hand, are programmed to handle these tasks optimally, regardless of the driver's skill level. Now, I'm not here to knock manual cars, they're fun. They give you a sense of control, and for some enthusiasts, they're a way of life. But if you're choosing a manual solely because you think it'll save you gas, you might want to rethink that decision. The technology has evolved, and so should this outdated belief. At the end of the day, whether you drive an automatic or a manual, fuel efficiency boils down to how and where you drive. Smooth acceleration, steady speeds, and regular maintenance will do far more for your gas mileage than your choice of transmission. Fuel myth number 4. Premium gas cleans your engine and boosts performance. Here's a fuel myth that's convinced way too many people to spend extra at the pump. The idea that premium gas is better for your car because it cleans the engine and boosts performance. It sounds pretty convincing, doesn't it? Premium just has that fancy ring to it, like it's the ultimate treat for your car. But here's the reality. If your car doesn't specifically require premium fuel, you're just throwing money away. Let's break it down. The main difference between regular and premium gas is the octane rating. Premium fuel has a higher octane rating, which helps prevent engine knocking, a type of combustion problem common in high-performance engines. If your car is designed for premium gas, you absolutely need it to avoid knocking and to keep everything running smoothly. But here's the catch. If your car is made to run on regular gas, using premium won't give you any added benefits. You won't get better mileage, more horsepower, or any magical improvements in performance. What about the claim that premium gas cleans your engine better? That's another myth. The truth is, all gasoline sold in the US contains detergents to prevent carbon buildup in your engine, no matter if it's regular, mid-grade, or premium. These detergents are required by law, so unless you're buying gas from a sketchy, unregulated source, your engine is already being kept clean. There's no extra cleaning power in premium fuel. It's just marketing fluff designed to justify the higher price. If your engine does need a deep clean due to carbon buildup, premium gas isn't going to fix the problem. A professional cleaning service or fuel system treatment is the right solution, and it'll likely be more effective than simply upgrading your gas. Here's another way to look at it. If premium gas truly offered all these magical benefits for every car, don't you think manufacturers would make it mandatory or at least strongly recommend it? Instead, they design most vehicles to run perfectly on regular gas because it's more affordable and widely available. So, unless your owner's manual specifically calls for premium fuel, stick with regular. Your car will run just fine, your wallet will stay fuller, and you won't fall for a myth that's all about marketing hype rather than real-world results. Myth number 3. Cruise control always saves fuel. Here's a long-standing fuel-saving myth that's been making the rounds for years. The idea that cruise control is a guaranteed way to save gas. It's often talked about like it's some magic button for fuel efficiency, but let's dig into the truth. It's not quite that simple. Yes, cruise control can be helpful. On long, flat highways, it's great at maintaining a consistent speed, which means you avoid those little bursts of acceleration that waste fuel. Consistency is key when it comes to fuel efficiency, and in these conditions, cruise control can do the job better than most drivers. But things get trickier when the road isn't flat. Imagine you're driving uphill. Cruise control works hard to keep your speed exactly where you set it, and to do that, it pushes the engine harder than necessary. This extra effort burns more fuel. On the other hand, an experienced driver knows how to handle hills more efficiently, easing off the gas slightly during the climb and letting gravity do the work on the way back down. That smooth manual adjustment can save more fuel than cruise control's full throttle approach. Now, let's be honest, most people don't drive perfectly. If you're someone who tends to accelerate and brake a lot, cruise control might still be the better option. It can help smooth out your driving habits and prevent unnecessary fuel waste. But if you're a skilled driver who knows how to read the road and adjust to changes like hills or curves, you'll probably do better managing your speed manually. Another thing to consider is how traffic and terrain play into this. On roads with lots of twists, turns, or frequent stops, cruise control can actually work against you. It's best reserved for steady, open highways where it can do what it's meant to, keep your speed consistent without interruptions. The takeaway? Cruise control isn't a one-size-fits-all solution for saving fuel. It's a helpful tool in the right situations, but it's not a miracle worker. Smart, attentive driving will always be the ultimate way to get the most out of every drop of gas. So, know when to rely on cruise control and when to take the wheel yourself. That's the real key to saving fuel on the road. Fuel myth number 2. Topping off gets you more gas. Let's dive into a habit that plenty of people are guilty of, topping off the tank. You know the feeling. The pump clicks off, but you keep squeezing the handle, aiming to hit a nice round dollar amount or cram in just a little more gas. It seems harmless, maybe even smart, but here's the truth. It's one of the most wasteful and unnecessary things you can do at the pump. First of all, once the pump clicks off, your tank is already full. Any extra fuel you're trying to add has nowhere to go. Instead, it might spill onto the ground, seep back into the pump's vapor recovery system, or, even worse, cause damage to your car. Most modern vehicles are equipped with systems designed to capture fuel vapors and recycle them into usable fuel. When you overfill your tank, you can flood this system with liquid fuel, which it's not designed to handle. This can lead to reduced fuel efficiency and costly repairs if the vapor recovery system or charcoal canister gets damaged. But that's not the only risk. Spilled gas doesn't just evaporate into thin air, it can harm the environment and your car. Gasoline is highly flammable, which means spilled fuel creates a fire hazard. Plus, it's harmful to the environment, contributing to soil and water pollution. And let's not forget your car's paint. Gasoline is corrosive, and if it drips onto your vehicle's surface and isn't cleaned off quickly, it can eat away at the clear coat and damage the finish. There's also the issue of fuel expansion. Gasoline is stored underground in tanks where the temperature is relatively cool. Once it's pumped into your car, it starts to warm up and expand, especially if you park in the sun. This can cause the extra fuel you crammed in to leak out, creating small puddles around your car and wasting the gas you just paid for. So, what's the best move? When the pump clicks off, stop. Resist the urge to top off and remember that it's not just a waste of money, it's risky for your car, your safety, and the environment. Topping off might seem like a small thing, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a habit worth leaving behind. Fuel myth number 1, fill up in the morning to save money. Here's a fuel myth that sounds clever but doesn't hold up to science. The idea that filling up in the morning gives you denser fuel and more value for your money. On the surface, it seems logical. Cooler morning temperatures mean everything else contracts, right? So, why not assume fuel does the same? Unfortunately, this myth is just another example of overthinking something that's pretty straightforward. Let me explain. Gasoline at fuel stations is stored in large underground tanks. These tanks are buried deep enough that they're insulated from surface temperature changes. Whether it's the crisp morning air or the blazing afternoon heat, the temperature of the fuel in those tanks stays relatively constant throughout the day. So it doesn't matter if you're filling up at sunrise, lunchtime, or midnight, you're getting the same amount of fuel for your money. The belief in this myth likely stems from a misunderstanding of how temperature affects liquids in general. While it's true that liquids can expand and contract with temperature changes, the difference for gasoline in underground storage is negligible. Fuel pumps are also calibrated to dispense gas at a standard rate, so even if there was a minor temperature variation, you'd still be getting the same amount of energy per gallon. Now, if you're looking for ways to actually save money on fuel, focus on things that make a difference, like maintaining your tire pressure, reducing unnecessary weight in your car, or avoiding aggressive driving. These small habits can significantly improve your fuel efficiency over time. One thing to note, though, is that filling up in cooler parts of the day might have a minor environmental benefit. Cooler air temperatures reduce the amount of fuel vapor that escapes into the atmosphere while you're refueling. While this won't save you money, it's a tiny step toward being more environmentally friendly. Fuel myths can sound convincing, but most of them are just that, myths. Falling for them won't just waste your time. It can waste your money and even harm your car. The truth is, understanding how modern vehicles and fuel systems work is the key to saving money at the pump. Stick to the facts, follow your car's manual, and focus on good driving habits. That's the real secret to keeping your wallet and your tank happy. Thanks for watching, and remember, smarter choices always win over popular misconceptions.